and welcome to the Excel Women TV show, where we equip, empower, and encourage women for success in business and life. My name is Tobi. Today, I'm interviewing an excelling lady. She's a multi-award winning TV and radio broadcaster and producer, and the founder of the Red Carpet Academy. Leah Chelsking, welcome to the show.
I'm super happy to be here. Thank you, Toby, for inviting me. Very exciting. Series 2 as well.
I knew she was going to be like this. She's so funny. She totally cracks me up. Thank you so much, Leah. I'm so excited to have you here. And thank you for agreeing to come on the Excel Women TV show.
It's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
Thank you so much. You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. Bright colours always work well when you're a superwoman, should we say? You know, we wear so many hats, we do so many things, and we're running up and down everywhere. And if you know you're struggling, just put on a bright colour, you'll be fine. Nobody will notice.
Bright colour. That's a good one. Thank God for supernatural strength. And there's a question, that I'd like to ask you. Have you always known that you would do this? What did you want to be when you were, as I always say, young? When you were growing up, did you always see yourself doing what you do now?
Well, believe it or not, I've been in the entertainment industry for over 35 years. And I've been in mainstream TV for 20 years. So when I was younger, I started off as a child actress. Yes. And then by the time I was 12, 13, I was singing in a little girl band with my first cousins. We actually got signed to Sony Music, and we had a record deal, and we had a music career, a couple of top 20 chart hits. I cannot sing anymore, but God miraculously changed my voice many years later. And when I became a TV presenter, I suddenly got the perfect TV voice. So God knows exactly what He's doing.
If you can't sing, there's no, let me not say that. But that's amazing. That's amazing. From being someone who uses a voice to sing to being able to be a TV presenter with that same voice.
Well, the thing is, Toby, when we were doing TV and touring and things like that, I would sit there, looking at the presenters on MTV or ITV and going, I really like this job. But in those days, nobody wanted to be a TV presenter. It wasn't the cool thing. People wanted to sing or they wanted to act. It wasn't TV presenting, but it wasn't accessible like it is now. Now you could get your own crew and camera, and it's more affordable to do so. But back then it was something that you couldn't do. We're talking 20 years ago. Yes. So in between the music, it was sort of like, what do I do? And then, God showed me that was the direction He wanted me to go in. But you don't always know at the time. I just went with the flow, and it hasn't been easy. But in between that, I was severely depressed for a while, and then I overcame that and got into TV, and here I am, 20 years on.
20 years on in the same industry, excelling, succeeding, and having won multiple awards as well.
Praise God.
Well done on laying those tracks.
Thank you.
And inspiring other women.
Thank you. Like I said, I just get led. That's what I'll say. I'll get led. I just say, in your hands. God is the best executive producer and director a girl could ever have. And that's how I see it.
Producing this show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In everything that I do and everything that we do, He should be present. So that's how I sort of, try to live my life as best as possible. But I am a human being.
That's the best way to live. Exactly. We're all working towards perfection. As I always say, it's a journey.
Absolutely.
And having achieved this level of success in the entertainment industry, in the media industry, and also being able to reinvent yourself and also start your own academy, which we'll talk about in a minute, what would you say are your top 3 success secrets that somebody looking out there and thinking, I want to be able to succeed in my own industry and have such longevity in my industry for 20 years and also be able to, diversify or reinvent myself and start my own academy? What would you say? What are top 3 attributes you would say have helped you to achieve that?
Wow. First one would be have a vision, make it plain, write it down, pray about it. Go with your spirit. Sometimes we have in our minds what we want to do. That's not necessarily your God-given purpose. So you really have to be in tune with God's voice and what He wants for you. And even if sometimes you're not fully sure, He won't show you the full vision at the time. He hasn't shown me the full vision, but I've known for many years and even now that I'm still not even close to where I'm supposed to be. The success is brilliant. I praise God for that.
Amen.
But he's told me very clearly, you're not even where I'm taking you, which is exciting.
It is.
But it comes with its adversity because,
Yes.
of course, with God, you have the opposite. You have the enemy who's trying to tear you down. So what I have learned is obviously, not to quit. That'll be number one. Oh, number two, actually.
Number
So the
two,
first one is
vision.
have your vision.
Yes.
And go with that.
Yes.
Seek God out for that. But number two would be don't quit, because when the pitfalls come, it will be easy to say, right, that's it, I'm giving up.
Did God really say that?
And yeah, exactly. You start doubting yourself, you start doubting God. You are just thinking, is this worth it? Shall I continue? I've been there, I've done that. And I've sat in dark rooms for months going, I'm depressed. I can't even imagine standing out in front of people and speaking to them again as a presenter, But there's always this inner voice that says don't quit. So that would be
have a greater one in you.
Thank you. So that would be tip number 2.
Yes.
And then tip 3 now. So tip 1 is have a vision. Tip number 2 would be don't quit.
Yeah.
And tip number 3 would be for longevity.
Yeah.
You really must continue to work hard. Try and be a step above the rest, not in terms of that you're better than anyone, not that at all, but always strive for excellence, because many people think that, well, it's easy, I'll coast with it, I'll go along with the flow in whatever industry it is. But if you want to be a recognized expert, then you have got to walk like an expert and talk like an expert. You can't, walk with chickens and expect to soar like an eagle, it's not going to happen. So you really have to set yourself apart. But that takes hard work and dedication.
Oh, it does. And we all know that. But it's amazing that the first thing that you talk about, which is vision, because that's one thing that keeps coming up with successful women that we interview here. Right? Have a vision, make it plain so that the person that sees it can run with it along with you. But very important, I like what you say about seeking God about that vision. Is it your own vision for your life, or is it God's vision for your life? And that's the question that you put forward there. It needs to be God's vision for your life, because he knows you best. He created you, crafted you, both inside and out.
For a purpose.
For a purpose. And he knows what's best for you.
Absolutely.
And secondly, and we are vessels as well that God uses. So that's what we're here for. That's our purpose here on earth. And the second thing you talked about, not giving up, not quitting. And that actually helps in what you said first, which is if I've sought my vision, the vision for my life from God, and I know that my maker, my crafter, is the one that says this concerning me, then everything else does not really stand. The main thing, the main focus, the main foundation, the main pillar is God and what he has said. So when there are obstacles, when there are difficulties, I can still go back to that vision that God gave me. And what was your last point now?
The last one was longevity. So to strive for excellence.
I know. And having said, what I wanted to pick out of that was, I think what I heard from you was, it's easy, or it might be easier to succeed, but you also need to be able to maintain that success.
Spot on.
And that needs a lot of personal development.
It does. You
need to keep developing yourself, a lifelong learning, so to speak.
You really do. But, I always say don't rest on your laurels, because there's always somebody else who coming up behind you is willing to go that extra mile than what you are. So, and that goes for all of us. So like I said, there can be many people who just think, well, I might be at the top of my game in my circle, but it's okay to be a big fish in a small pond. Do you see what I mean? But actually, I always think of a global vision. But that is the vision that God has given me. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the same vision for everyone. Your vision might just be in your community. Your vision, or purpose, I should say, might just be in your home. It might be between you and your child, or you and your husband. It might be within your family. So the vision that God gives you isn't always this huge vision.
Even within that, there's always more to do, I believe. As long as we're on God's earth, you're still living your purpose. So even within that vision, that purpose that God has given you in your home, there's always something else to, to teach your child, to show your child, to share with your child.
Absolutely.
There's always something more to do in your community, to do in your community. It doesn't have to be anything massive. As much as having a listening ear can just be that. Listen to somebody who no one's listening to. Be that person who, chat to people at the bus stop if it is. I'm not saying that's a purpose. I'm just saying there's even within that vision, that purpose that we think is a small thing, there's always more to do.
Well, you never ever know how a simple hello can affect somebody's day.
Tell me about
And that comes from, somebody, like I said, who has suffered depression in the past. That's quite an isolated mental illness, and it's not something that people always talk about either. I speak about it because many people now go through that. It's triggered by stress, anxieties. It's not a rare thing anymore, and it shouldn't be something that people are afraid to talk about. So I will say that first of all.
Yes. I recently shared on social media about having, gone through such myself. And it was amazing the amount of people that, were like, thank you so much for lending a voice to that. I'm thinking, oh, thank God. I was sharing a testimony and saying, I went through this, but God brought me out. I wanted to give God the glory that at a time in my life, in that week, I'd written a book. I was doing, it was all about Excel Woman. And I was saying that, 6 years ago in my life, when I went through, these mental health issues that we call them, that I did not see myself being somebody to write a book later, being somebody to be doing this show today. And so thank God for that. And I think that just as you said, as many of us lend a voice to that, then it's no longer a stigma.
Absolutely.
And then when it's no longer a stigma, then people can easily get help.
Yes, I mean, more and more people need to speak up and get help, and I think that is changing. And you have things like Mental Health Awareness Week, and you have many charities now, and I think people are starting to, I don't want to say own it, because it's not something that we should own.
But because we have the mind of Christ.
Absolutely. So it's not for us, but at the same time, in order to overcome, you have to say, this is my issue, Lord, take it. Rather than be in denial. Yes, you have to acknowledge that something isn't necessarily right. Absolutely. And just touching on your point earlier as well about the steps, also reminding that whatever it is that you're deciding to do, whatever your vision is, remember that it's not always about you. So you are a vessel for God, but you're also giving a service to others. So it's about other people rather than ourselves and wanting the spotlight.
It's never about us, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
How many times can you read your own book? How many times can you watch your own show? Little secret there. I don't actually enjoy watching myself, but I have to in order to develop myself. But it's for other people. You're sharing with us today. We're growing, we're getting equipped, we're getting empowered. If it was just for me, it would only be me. But we're sharing with our viewers today. So it's about each and every one of us. So I always believe our giftings, our talents, our purpose, which is what it is, it's never about us. Thank you so much for that. That was deep. I'm still taking it in. So you've told us about your secrets to success. What's your journey been like? Because we've talked about, you being able to achieve this level of success, you having started at quite a young age. If someone's looking out there, a woman is inspired by what you've shared today, but she probably looks at you and thinks, what Leah has described is far, far away. Being a TV presenter, producer, having my own academy, winning awards. How do I get there? What's the start of that? And what tracks can I follow in my journey?
Well, there were many years, and there have been, and there's still times, and there's still seasons and periods and days, hours, thoughts that I go through where I still suffer self-doubt, where I've still struggled. It's not an easy industry to be in, and people see me here, they see me polished, and they go, oh, she's very, but I don't mean just in looks, I mean in terms of, in terms of my attributes and whatever. But that is a journey, and that's also come at a cost. I would say that it's come at a cost. Racism, sexism, homelessness. I come from a mainstream TV industry where it's very difficult, and being a woman of colour, all my success has come at a price, and it continues to do that. But again, it goes back to point number 2 that I made earlier, which is never quit, don't give up.
Don't give up. And also, you've come up with a practical way to help people, which is the Red Carpet Academy. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, the Red Carpet Academy literally came out of a time of adversity when I wanted to quit. Many people would ask me, please give me some advice on how to get into presenting. I was going through such a tough time, I didn't want to, but I had a major operation, and during that time of recovery, God said to me, now's the time. A vision that he gave me 7 years previously. Now 3 years on from launching the Red Carpet Academy, we have helped hundreds of people in the UK and Europe to be able to present to camera for their business, their product, their service. Do what you're doing now. So you don't need to be a mainstream TV presenter.
No. And I'm going to go on the Red. I'm going to go to the Red Carpet Academy as well.
But you can learn from a mainstream TV presenter, which is a very unique thing to have.
That's amazing, because you've not only you've come up with a practical way to back up the vision that God is giving you,
but to help others
and to help others. That's what I mean. In terms of, it's not just we're not just talking, we're putting something behind it, despite what you also still do as a TV broadcaster and producer. Thank you so much. And I like what you said about, 7 years ago, God gave you the vision, and it has happened now.
It doesn't always come into fruition straight away. So try not to put pressure on yourself. This is so important.
And you can't pressure God.
No, you can't. You can't pressure yourself. Just leave it to him and just go with the flow.
And what came to my heart as you said that was that, when you talked about it being 7 years ago, is that God always has a plan. God always has a plan for us. Let's trust in his plans for us. His plans for us are of good and not of disaster. Of a future, of a hope, of an expected end. I love that scripture. It's growing very much on me at the moment. Thank you so much, Leah, for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us, our viewers. If anything that we've discussed today has impacted you in any way, please do comment on our social media handles, @XLWoman with Tobi on Facebook and on Instagram, @XLWoman TV on Twitter, or email us hello@xlwoman.tv. God bless you, and see you again real soon. Bye-bye.